So hi Dave.
Hello.
Can you briefly introduce White Hills and tell a bit about the history of the band?
White Hills. We are White Hills. It started out as just like a little thing for myself to make music, because I wasn't too pleased with bands that I was playing in New York City at the time. Nobody wanted to play the kind of music I was playing, so I just recorded a record myself. Really didn't think at that time about putting a band together because I couldn't. And then it caught attention of some people who really liked it, and just kind of like a rocket from there. So that's pretty much it, really. I don't know. I mean,
so you've toured Europe many times,
yeah,
in a little time.
Yeah.
So how come you're so present in Europe?
Because I didn't care to have a presence in America. I didn't think at the time that there was an audience in America, and it's more fun and romantic to come to Europe than it is to drive around in a van in the US. So I was all like, Europe's the place to be.
And have you been, so you're playing Oslo tonight?
Yes.
Which is the first time in this city?
Yeah.
And in this country too. How's the response in Scandinavia in general? Is it like...
Oh, it's great. It's great. Yeah, it's actually one of the better places for us. We were here 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago. We played Stockholm, and I can't remember where else we played. I think we only played Stockholm. Did we play Denmark? We played Denmark? Yeah, we played Copenhagen. Okay. But yeah, it's like response has always been really good here. So even for only having come once before. And if in between that time, like we played Stockholm last night, and I would say there was probably about twice as many people last night as there was when we were here last. And so when we were here last, it was really good. So, yeah.
And how is it going now in the US? Have you been touring there since you formed the band?
Yeah,
more attention.
Yeah, over the last couple of years, we've been doing a lot of touring in the U.S. and there, definitely the kind of music that we're playing. There are more bands playing that kind of stuff, and we do. It's better. It's not like here, I mean, we're fortunate enough to where there are a lot of fairly larger bands that like what we do. So we're kind of an anomaly in a sense where we get asked to do like opening spots for people. Like we've played with the Flaming Lips, we've played with Mudhoney, we've played with Sleep. We're in December going to be opening up for Monster Magnet in New York City. So, those things for me make it better for playing in the US. Because just hopping in a bus, or not even a bus, in a van, and just driving around America is really tedious, But it's something that you have to do, so you do it. But I'd much rather come here and sit in a bus.
Distance.
Yeah. What's that?
You have smaller distance.
Well, it's not only that. It's just different. It's like people think it's just the way people approach music. It's the way venues approach music. It's very different. It's the way the fan base approaches music is very different. It's just a different culture, and there's a different value that's placed upon like arts in general. So coming over here and doing something artistic, and people appreciate it in a different way. And more people appreciate it in a way that you would like it to be appreciated. So it makes it, for you doing it, more fun.
And White Hills releases a lot of records. Where does that inspiration come from? What inspires you to make so much music?
Well, I think that there's a perception that we release a lot of records. I really don't think we really release that many records. I mean, I think, you know, I come from a time in which, like, for me and growing up with music and whatnot, bands did release a record every year. Okay, it wasn't, you know, you release one album and then 5 years later you release another record, you know. So to me, if you're active and you're doing something, why not release a record every year? You know, it's there's never a shortage of material, really. You know, there's a lot of things that we do that never ever really go anywhere. But, you know, we're constantly rehearsing, we're constantly writing new material, we're constantly recording. And so it's like, if you're doing those things and those things are good and you want them out there, they should be out there. You know, I don't think that you need to wait so long. You know, I think that within the process of creating, there's something about just creating for the sake of creating versus like creating and nitpicking at it and, like, you know, taking so much time to like think, no, this needs to be this way and it needs to be this perfect. You know, there's something about creation that is within a moment, and I think if you get away from that moment, you lose something within the creative process. So it's like the way that I approach things within writing music in this band is kind of like how abstract expressionist painters painted. They painted for the sake of painting. They just painted, you know? They didn't really think, you know, necessarily too much, you know, about too many things within it. It was like, I have this urge, I want to create, I'm creating. So I approach music in that same sense.
And what's up for writers at the moment? So you're in Europe?
Yeah, we're in Europe until the end of October. And then when we go back to America, we have a one-off show in Los Angeles. And then we play with Monster Magnet in December. But outside of that, we're just going to take it easy. It's been an extremely busy year for us. So, you know, start plotting what next year will be all about, really. But, you know, I think all of us need a little bit of a break.
Yeah, you were in Europe. I think I saw you in Brussels in March.
Yeah. At Botanique. Yeah, which was a lot of fun. Yeah, so, you know, this is the second time this year we've been in Europe. We've done 2 fairly large tours of the U.S. This year as well, and then a few smaller tours around the U.S. So, thrown in some recording in there along the way, you know.
Right. So, I don't have any more questions. Is there anything you have to say?
Yeah, lots of things. Yeah, just like I think that people should live. I think people should live within the moment. I think people should spend less time on computers. I think people should spend more time outside. Just kind of soaking in this planet we live on and the universe that we're a part of, kind of understanding that we are a very small thing within a greater scheme of existence, and how we're all connected, how it's all connected. People just open up their eyes a bit, just kind of like get out of the small existence in which they live in and see the beauty in everything.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.